with my very fancy headset.
Hey, you guys. I'm
Hi,
here.
everybody.
We thought we would just do it this way so that um, actually both of our faces can be seen, and we'll just have a little quickie about some Mercury
Every
retrograde.
people love quickies sometimes. You're just in a mood for a quickie.
Right, I know. They're popular in our household.
So
Uh,
I thank you so much for bearing. So for those of you who watched the live video, I never got to bring Tracey on. We practiced, we tried, it didn't work, and that is part of kind of the comedy of the energies that are happening right now. But so I think this is a great way to share a quickie, because I know both of us are, it's the end of our day. It's a bit frazzled energy right now, especially with sitting there for an hour trying to get Facebook to work.
uh,
Um, but thank you for doing this with me. I was like, let's just record us talking right
no, you were
now.
great. You were great. You totally just like took over and made it happen while I sat there trying to get my camera to work. I think it was a bandwidth issue. I'm not
Yeah. So to your credit, I used to do Facebook Lives every week, and almost weekly I had some kind of issue because they're always changing the app, they're always changing the rules. Like for example, I couldn't bring you on live from your computer, you had to be on your phone. Like there's all these things. So it it's 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 a free tool. Facebook's a free tool. We can't really complain that much.
I know.
Um,
Well,
but my
I apologize. I felt really bad, but
It worked.
oh, here we
Now
are.
we're doing this. Now they have two resources. So I really wanted you to share a couple things that we had talked about before, because I think there are some people out there that need to hear it. So are you open to sharing about the animals
Sure.
you were feeling? Or actually, for the people, for my people who don't know you very well, could you do a quick introduction of who you
Who
are
I
and what you
am?
do? Yeah.
Sure. I'm Tracey Shug. I'm a clairvoyant, and I have my own practice here in Seattle. And I'm also a jewelry maker. The semi-precious stones have been calling to me, so I just started making jewelry with the intention of utilizing their healing properties and connecting them with people so that they actually have a tangible tool that they can, keep around their neck or in their ears,
Yep.
or even, I keep them in my pocket sometimes.
Hmm.
So that's what kind of led me to um, having intention put behind each piece. I know that when we met, I mean, it was kind of like about the intention behind, well, everything. But no, the
Yes.
jewelry, I was so happy that a couple of my pieces resonated with you, and that's what I am trying to create with this Mercury retrograde protection pendant. Is what
Are
I'm.
you wearing one right now?
I am. I am, and actually, I was really utilizing it as I was having technical difficulties
I bet. That was a
because
perfect
otherwise,
example. Otherwise, your computer would be broken
keep me
against the wall right
grounded. Keep me grounded before I fly off. But no, it's good. It's you can feel it.
now. So talk about how you are so intentional with each piece. What is that? What energy goes into these?
Well, oftentimes the stones will speak to me on their own, and I
That's
just
cool.
kind of listen. And even before I start, I sit down to make jewelry. I do set the intention around. I work with all kinds of stones, but I'll kind of just lay everything out, and sometimes I don't know what I'm going to make, and
Ooh.
I just kind of intuitively follow the lead of what the mood is for the day. And
Yep.
sometimes it'll be a week of stones that are really grounding, or other times it will be like really energetic stones that will you know will call to me to make pieces. I just follow it intuitively because it's more fun that way.
Yeah.
I get to feed the creative part of myself that that I need to that I
Feed.
need to
Are they all in the corner? Is that what's hanging? Are your
yeah,
collection?
these are the stones. Um, you know, I kind of been called to make more intentional pieces around different stones. And black tourmaline is one that comes up for grounding and protecting. It's so powerful. You know, it can absorb negative energies. It can also repel negative energies. So um, that's what that's what I wanted to design the piece around. And then I included hematite, which is also a stone that can deflect negative energy. It does have some grounding properties too. I wanted to bring about the element of lapis lazuli, which is
Ooh,
kind of
love that
the
one.
clear communication stone. When you use that, it kind of breaks down, kind of breaks away barriers for clear speech and truth. Um, the,
Which
the Egyptians used it a lot.
I was gonna say, I love all of the Egyptian anything, and I also mispronounce that stone all the time. I call it lapis lazuli. I will always call it that. But what I love about that you have, and it's not called lapis lazuli, you guys, but using that and having this is not specifically only a necklace you could wear during Mercury retrograde. This is the themes that happen during Mercury retrograde also happen in all parts of our life all the time, right?
Totally.
Especially when it comes to that, like breaking through the barriers of miscommunication and like finding your voice in a clear way amidst all of the chaos. I
Yeah.
see the power of that stone in combination with it's black tourmaline, right? The big one, of
Mm-hmm.
how it just goes pew, and like having that centeredness. So I could see someone, having to have a hard conversation with a loved one, or a big meeting at work, or going on a Facebook Live for the first time, or
Yeah.
whatever it is. And that necklace, not only does the stone have those properties, and not only have you infused this deep, deep intention making it, also now whoever's wearing it has purchased this and owns this and is wearing this with intention. So you have this like three-pronged approach at an intentional tool that literally is bringing you a new energy. It's a physical tool of recalibration, and that's why I'm just like so nerding out about how awesome these are. And I want one right now, so I'm definitely ordering one and having you send me one. I showed this in the Facebook Live.
Thank you. Is that the Mother Earth one? Is that like the
Yeah, I call it my Earth Goddess necklace.
yeah
I
powerful
don't.
necklace?
Yeah, so it's super powerful. I don't know if it's focusing correctly, but I love it. Has this crystal or cluster of crystals on the top. There's definitely some clear quartz in here. I think there's rhodonite, probably the little green and pink one,
I think that is that
or whatever that artist.
rose quartz, or is it citrine? Oh,
Yeah,
no, the other one is
a, a,
green.
there is some green aventurine, it looks like, but that pink and it's a pink and green stone. I don't remember the name of it, but I know it's a very powerful for creativity. And it's often called the artist's stone
Oh,
when
it's
you look at
Unakite. Duh.
Unakite. That's what it is. Yeah, so it's Unakite.
Yeah.
But
Unakite.
when I was like, so I bought two necklaces from you when I first met you at Reese's party,
You
and
bought
there
the
was,
citrine. You bought that
yeah,
citrine
the
one.
other one I don't have with me at the moment. But it's this like fiery goddess, amazing. No, I don't have it hanging in here. And I like didn't take that one off for I don't know how long. And then this one is so grounding for me, and I feel so just like when I put it on, and I feel powerful and I feel fertile, not necessarily trying to get pregnant over here, but I mean fertile in like, abundance, and like I could grow anything, I could make anything. It feels like money, like when I wear this. And then even down to the um, what do you call this part? The actual
Oh,
necklace part that you
the
decided to,
cord.
the cord that you put with it,
It's
like the
apple.
juxtaposition of the energies. It's this, I don't know if it's a leather, I think it's
Buckskin
buckskin.
is
Yes. Yeah, so it's deer. So I feel, and I'm always very, very grateful for any animal product that is a part of me. So I feel also this balance in energy. And so if it was from a male deer, I feel that like yin yang, feminine, masculine. It's just so rad. So I
So
want people to understand how cool your jewelry is and how intentional and how calibrated it is, and how powerful it is.
well, I added on some of them, or most of them, except, well, we were talking about the Egyptian one. I kind of wanted to talk about this one because I put aventurine on it too, but it blew the aventurine right off, so there would just be like lapis lazuli on it.
Oh,
And the stone, it's like, okay, it said something like, I am, like, think of me in memorandum of an Egyptian monolith. And I'm like, okay, but
hey,
you're one of the smaller pieces. And it's like, doesn't matter.
doesn't matter how
So,
small
yeah,
I
this
am.
one is really, I don't know, for somebody who really is more interested in the clear communication, if you do go online and buy it, like, put in the comments, um, uh, the Egyptian monolith or
Like
something.
I want the one
This
for
one.
the. So this is a good point. So every necklace is unique, even though it's very similar. They're all unique energies,
Yeah,
just like every person is unique. So
each one
when
is
you do
different.
go to your Etsy store and buy a necklace, put in the comments like, what would be a good fit for me energetically, and you'll
Well,
let.
that's interesting that you say that, because before our Facebook Live event,
We
I
had an event. You were on it. We just didn't get to talk the way we thought we were going to.
I know, but I got a message, and um, so if you buy a necklace, then I can, if you put in the comments to the seller Facebook Live, then I will give you a little mini reading about the intention behind this, or
Ooh, that gives me chills.
I'll go the extra step and like put a little mini reading into your package about
Wow.
this and how it can help you even more than just the original intention. So that way it'll be a little special. And
A lot special.
no, yeah, I mean, I
I
just want
love
to do
that.
something a little special for this. And also I wanted to mention, I didn't mention that I put in aventurine, which is it's a stone that can help heal past traumas and wounds, emotional trauma. And that's something that a lot of people don't really recognize about Mercury retrograde. We're so focused on, oh, it messes up communications and travel, and but what it also can do in a positive way is to kind of bring forward some things that need addressed,
Hmm.
in regards to old traumas that could come up.
Hmm.
um, so I wanted to just include that in the piece too, because it is really important if, like, old lovers come back into your life, or people that you haven't thought about in a while, or even deceased loved ones will pop back in.
Yep.
I've had a really interesting thing happen lately, and it's unusual. It hasn't happened like this before. So I don't know if it has to do with Mercury retrograde, but part of me feels like it does have to do with that. But I've been thinking about old pets, or just animals that I've come into contact with over the years that had some sort of impact on me, like my like the pony that I used to spend every day with. I've been thinking about him a lot, and I had to replay a bunch of stuff that happened about, why I stopped interacting with that pony, or why I couldn't. And then, a neighbor cat that was trying to climb up my screen to have her babies in my house when I lived in Nashville, and it's because she was trying to get away from her really gross owners that were
Oh
abusive.
man.
But like all of these is a bunch of animal stuff is coming up, and so I'm not really sure what the meaning was for all of it, but it was more, I think, of an acknowledgement for, and I will tell you that as I think I needed some heart chakra
Mhm.
release and expansion, because I mean, I'm like crying in my car, like thinking about this cat.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really know where this is coming from, but so I sent a lot of healing energy to to my old pets, and and to myself. Really, it was really kind of beautiful. So if you're thinking about, yeah, I've also noticed my husband calling one of our cats by
A
his
different
old
name.
cat's nickname. And he said that that energy has been coming up a lot for him. And so anyway, if you have old pets that are coming into your life, acknowledge them, send love, send healing. There's usually a message in it for you.
And part of it may also be let me see if I am hearing or saying this correctly. So at the time, especially if it was a path, an animal that crossed your path in the past, what was going on for you during that time, right? What did you need during that time that that animal was either there to give you the lesson of, or that you now have the opportunity to touch back in with yourself and give yourself a little dose of whatever that was now with the perspective that you have. So I think there may even be a correlation with the energy, the period of time of when that memory, like, because I saw it when you're talking about the pony, what was going on in my life around why I stopped seeing that pony or whatever it was. So it's not it feels twofold. It's the animal coming in to acknowledge the relationship that you had with them, and then also an opportunity for you to tap back into that version of yourself and either find peace or forgiveness or gratitude or whatever it is that you can find for yourself right now. And I love playing with time. I love pretending like I can remember when I was back in that place and that my future self came and helped me. I like doing that in the present. So right now, I am the future version of me as a little girl, when I saw, was really scared by a dog or something, whatever it was that I'm remembering about an animal. But I love playing with time and knowing, because it isn't linear and we can play with it.
Right.
So what if you can think back to those moments where you were having it, or maybe it's the time of the animal visiting, the memory of the animal or the energy of the animal visiting you now is actually what's helping you back then. Like, it's so web constellation connectedness, like the time is not linear with these things. And so especially during Mercury retrograde, I think we even have more
Yeah.
of an opportunity to play with the past in the present, drawing from the future and like letting them all help each other and not really overthinking of how is that possible or could that really help? Does that really happen? Because
Well,
whether,
it's a measurement of growth.
yeah,
Like, because when the neighbor's cat, right? When all that happened, I was a completely different person back then.
hmm,
Like, how I would have reacted in that situation now as opposed to then, 15 years ago, is so different. And we don't really, I think that we need those memories that come up during this time to, they kind of come to the surface, and you can look at that and see how far you've come, how
yep,
much healing you've done,
yep,
how much growth that you've made
yeah,
all those
and
years. Because if you don't think about that stuff, you don't really know how truly amazing you are. And life is a journey, and if you can't look back and look at some of the times that maybe weren't so great, um, or just were during a time period. It's not like it even really has to be anything crazy, but I don't know. I mean, that's a good point. Like the lesson and using time to
calibrate what's happening. It's so fun. It's so cool. It's like one of my favorite things to, well, not teach people to, but to introduce as something to play with. Because I can pinpoint a time like when I was I had my heart totally broken and I was like on the floor crying and just feeling all this trauma. And there was like this, my own voice helped me. And I remember I got out my phone and I started like writing myself a note basically. But it wasn't me then. It was me now. And
future.
it was me helping my past self, or maybe it was my past self tapping into my future. I don't really know how it worked, but I know that that moment, it was me. It was me helping me. And I really felt like it was it having the perspective of it, it felt like time travel, and it did show me exactly how far I have grown and why I went through that pain to be able to grow in the way that I've grown, to be able to talk about love and experience love in the way that I can now that I couldn't then, to learn tools of intimacy that I never would have even thought of had I not experienced what I had experienced, and all of these different pieces that um it's like I have this cosmic connection to that moment in time with me right now, and it's like they're happening together but they're not. I don't know how to
Well,
explain it other than
yeah.
to play with it and to think about if there was a time in your life where, and it's, you may have thought it was like a spirit guide or guardian angel or something. It may have been you. It may have been a different time version of you, knowing you were going to need help during that time because you experienced it and
Happens
went back
all
and
the
helped
time.
yourself.
That
Yeah.
stuff happens all the time. It happens when I give readings to people
Yeah. Yeah.
because I'm tapping into either their past higher self, their present, or their future.
Yep.
And it's not always just their spirit guides, actually them.
Them. That's what I want. And this was what I felt was so important to communicate to people about calibration and being at a frequency that's aligned with your higher self. It's like
We're
when you
so
really,
powerful. We're so powerful. And we're
yes,
crossing
yes,
timelines all the time.
yes. And like you are, I always, my goal in life is to teach everyone you are your own best guide, and that all the other guides are to help activate that within
Maybe
you.
that can be another pop-up that we that actually
Maybe we do it this way and then just post the video.
I know. Well, this is not this is turning into like not a quickie. So this is like a full
Well,
on.
yeah. Well, we'll finish up our quickie, make sure we're both satisfied.
Well, I'm definitely satisfied. I do want to let you guys know where to find this.
Yes.
I have on my website is called psychicsatellite.com.
Which I love. Boop, 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 boop. Because you are a psychic
The
satellite.
psychic satellite. And there is a link on the jewelry page, or you can go to my Etsy store, which I just opened today.
Congratulations.
Thank you for these pendants.
Okay, and if you put Facebook Live in the note to seller, you get a mini reading about the energetic connection with the necklace that you're receiving.
I'll tap into your stuff, or if you have a special need, like I really am needing some clear communication, during this,
Or
I'm needing grounding, or
my ex keeps coming back into my space, or whatever it is.
yeah, I'll pick the pendant and I'll write a little message for you in there.
4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Well, you have about 20, 24?
There's about 18, I think.
18. Okay.
But, if they're successful, I will do another run of them.
Okay.
I would like this to be a regular piece in my collection
Repertoire.
because it is important, and I'll be developing more pieces as time goes along. It just whatever is needed, I will be there to create.
Yeah. I could see a whole line around heartache and heartbreak that could be really powerful for people. So anyway, I have all kinds of ideas that I'm like, you roll with, but thank you for your patience with this whole process and not throwing your computer against the wall, because I probably would have done that if I had been on the other side of it.
Not if you were wearing one of these.
Well, I'm gonna get one, right? Like I need, there's only 17 left because I'm getting one.
Right.
Or whatever it is. In addition to this, in this video, you'll also do a separate post with the link to your Etsy store, your website, and the promo about the free mini reading with you?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
This happened however it was supposed to happen.
Learning experience. All right. You're terrific. Thanks so much. And thanks everybody for watching. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.